So now we're kind of looking at some of the ostrich egg water carriers that we have in the pit. This one you picked up earlier. I don't know if you wanted to show it to the camera again now that we're recording. So this one was collected in 1872 by an Englishman named James Edward Dunn. And we looked at this last week, kind of in the museum court when it's out on display on the ground floor. And I wondered whether you might be able to just kind of tell us again a little bit about, first of all, what the eggshell's been used for, and then also about the designs on the shell itself.
Okay, ostrich container or carrier, water carrier. So, well, ostrich eggshell is actually such a nice container. Like it's cooler, I think, and then it keeps water or any kind of liquid like cooler. And then what they do to make it extra cold is like they have to dig a hole and then put it inside the hole, so to make it a bit. And then them putting it under the ground is also to keep it safe, like for later use as well. And the patterns around it, usually it's some kind of a sign by a group of people, by a person who put it there, so that it can show that no, there's somebody that was there. And then also some of the specific signs belong to probably an individual or to a group of people, so that can be like respected. So it's kind of marking the territory where people were. So basically what happens is that when they put the container with water in the sand, in the soil, I don't know if is it soil or sand or
both soil. That's the type.
Yeah, so they'll have to put a sign there showing that somebody actually came here through here, and then this belongs to people who came through here. So it means that if that is identified, that means that those people have to move on, because it's a sign that there are people around in this area. So it was also kind of marking people's territory, and then also stating that somebody's property is at that area. So basically, as I was talking about also about my research paper about sense of property, that was how it was back in the days as well. So apart from being a container or a carrier of water or any liquid, it is also a sign of individual drawings, as well as marking a territory or stating that properties around that kind of area. So yeah.
So this is an incredibly complex object then, because it's kind of serving that kind of a practical purpose, and that you can kind of carry into the water. You've got these designs that about identity, both personal and familial, and then you've also got this kind of relationship to land that's kind of also encoded in this egg.
Yeah. What I can see on it is there's an animal. Yeah, there's an animal. It's kind of weird, but
maybe this is the ostrich leg here.
Okay.
Maybe
this looks like a kudu. Looking at the legs and the stripes. Female kudu, because it doesn't have horns. Yeah, it looks like they were also trying to tell what kind of animals they are within that area as well.
Incredibly kind of like a local map of...
And then there's kind of a house, a hut.
So here.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at this.
So we've got two animals, a kind of a hut, and maybe then a description of the landscape as well.
Yeah, all of these small things together. I wonder what's inside.
Because
I was there's a black spot there, not black but brownish spot there. Yeah.
We've also got a couple of other eggs here. I'll kind of gently hold them up to the camera.
Mm.
And these were collected quite a lot later. So these were collected in the 1970s.
Mm.
And what I was wondering if we could talk about maybe initially for this one is this little, I'll show that again to the camera, this bit here, the sort of the plug that's sitting in the egg.
It's supposed to come. Yeah, this is just the lid. So I can't see what kind of plant this is, but then it looks like some kind of grass. Grass that was pulled out and then used. Yeah,
together.
yeah. So I think this was done while the grass was wet. It was still green, so they had to use that. So.
And you were saying earlier when we were looking at them, it's interesting that these two 1970s eggs have been bored from the kind of like the top, like the apex of the point, whereas this older egg is kind of bored in the center. Is that just a kind of like the particular thinking of the person who made them? Would that serve any particular purpose?
What from my side, what I think now is that, this one is more like, it's more on the side. And then these ones are like having on top. So I think it's also personal like feeling of where to poke the hole. And then also this one specifically, I think it was also a way of sharing information. I think these people moved away from there, but then I don't know how it was collected. I don't know if it was from the ground or something like that, because this one looks like it was information sharing. People moved away from it just to like.
In the database, Dunn says that he got this one from a person. He doesn't give a name. He just gives a kind of vague region that they were from. And obviously, as with many of the historic records, it's very hard to tell under what circumstances whether that's something that he's been bought, whether it's something he's been given as a gift, whether it's something that he's kind of taken. It's not always clear what that means. So that's all the information that we have. There is a record that he says that he found another similarly engraved egg. And he found that one buried in the ground. And he said that it had a very crystalline shell structure. And that made him think it had been in the ground for quite a long time. And that one he gave to one of the museums in South Africa.
Okay.
So there is a kind of a twin almost to this one that exists in a different museum. And that one he did seem to find.
So did it have some substance inside of it or not? He didn't really say.
Describe if it's full. He just describes the engravings and says that it was a similar.
But then not
engraved, but doesn't say anything about whether or not it had water
or some substance in it. Yeah, so that's also most important information that needs to be communicated as well. Because like if it's from the ground, so then we have to know was there something inside of it. Yeah, because I'm trying to see if this was done with pencil or was it with a chalk or anything like that. And then looking at these parts, also it looks like it was with something, maybe something sharp or just.
I think certainly my understanding is often it will be kind of very gently incised and then kind of rubbed with like charcoal to kind of put that colouring into the impressions.
Yeah. Quite interesting. I'm wondering what kind of material, like object they used to make these signs.
And then we've got another example here. This is again from the 1970s. Speaking of incisions, again, I'm just going to hold that up to the camera so we can see those decorations there. And this one has again quite a different pattern on it. So we don't have any of the animal figures that we see there, and it seems to be quite a lot less complex. But would we still understand these as those kind of, again, markers of personal identity and ownership?
Because I think this is I think this looks like maybe it's a pattern that they saw somewhere that they copied on this, because
quite a
This
very
is
different style.
yeah. This is more like maybe it was a pattern that was seen by the designer from other ethnic groups. Maybe the Xhosa, the Zulus. Maybe they have such kind of like this is the kind of art that they do on their beads and also some clothing and so. So I think this was when people came together. They saw other patterns and then they just got inspired, I think, and then started drawing such kind of things. So I think it's a personal favorite design. So
So
yeah.
is this kind of sand art style taking on influences from other people, so kind of also practicing different artistic crafts? It's fantastic. And also like interesting to see that kind of like then through time, these kind of different styles emerging.
And this one is actually much darker than the rest of like this one. Looking at, I don't know, the charcoal over.